Hello, I'm Tracy Elder. I live down here in Gregory's Run Road in this old 1860s plus home, Ash House number 2. It was on an old historical drive site. We have a freshwater spring that comes down through our property, a creek, and we like to go through and find things on occasion. And this is a small example of some of the things that we have found over the last several years. We have some very interesting things from Indian, colonial, prehistoric time, things like that. These are some of the smaller things that we have found. Some of them, I'm pretty sure I know what they are, like these right here, and I'll tell you what they are in just a moment. And then we have some egg fragments throughout here that I'm pretty sure of. And then there's some things that we're not quite sure what they could be. They could be scrapers for deer pellets. This one here we believe could have been for deer. Also some old arrowheads possibly. These here look like polishing stones or cutting stones. They actually have fingerprints still in them where they had used them. Some of these smaller pieces here could be bone, where just I would like someone to be able to look at them. Like here, see, they're really small, little fragments of eggs, polished stones, possibly pieces of pottery, we're not sure. Okay, these here are the ones with the fingerprints in it right here. You can tell where they had stuck their thumb and used it to scrape right here. And then this one here also has a print in it where their finger or thumb might have been to use to polish or grind meal or anything. I'm not real sure, but it's definitely been used. There. This is an egg that we found out in the creek, out back. And as you can see right here, it's got some stuff in it. We've left it in. We're not sure what kind of egg, but it's definitely a prehistoric egg. Couldn't find the other half yet. Okay, and then we also have this piece, which I believe is around the same time as that egg, but I'm not sure. It's looking like there's skin or mass or something and then bone underneath. I'm not sure if this is part of an animal, part of an egg, but there is possibly DNA in this. I'm thinking if anybody's interested and giving us some further knowledge, if you can zoom in on this right here. This one here is the most interesting piece that I've found. I think it is definitely bone, and I'm not sure what type of animal. My research has showed maybe a possible like larger lizard back then or things, but I'm not for sure. And if we turn it around, see this side here, it's calcified, I believe. Okay. And this looks like to be the side of the head, back of the head. You turn it around again, and then you'll see the eye, possible jaw, and nose area. And if you zoom in closely, you'll see parts of maybe bone type fragments in there. I'd like to find out more about this and have it dated. These are pieces my son has found. Right here, we believe this would be an axe handle. You can see right here the edge on it. It's approximately, about 5.5, 6 inches long. Then we also have another possible spear, and it's a good 12 inches. It's got the angles here and here, blunt on the end, where it could have been tied to a stick or something, I'm not sure. And then in our research, we found that the Indians around here did a lot of carvings of animals that were around the area, what they saw. In this case, we have found a lot of birds. This is a one of many birds heads we have found. As you can see here is the eye and the beak right there. Comes around and down into here, and we're not sure if it sat on something else or not. But we found a lot of bird heads. And that's about it. We're also not sure of the date of these. We're believing early 1800s, maybe early, or we're not really sure. We need help. These right here are one of the first eggs that we found out back. This one here is encased in some kind of coal or something. You can see the top of it right there. But this one here is going to be way more interesting. This is actually not encased in anything. Can you see it? And you can see the shell that comes apart right here, and possibly the embryo or whatever's in there underneath. The research we did looked like it might be one of the first like tadpole type or lizard type salamanders around here. We would need somebody with a little more experience than we have in research to let us know what this is. And now these are some of the other things we have found over the years here. We have got some old glassware, we've got some old toys, a gun, different trucks, a Zippo lighter, music stand to hold music in, part of an old rifle. We're not sure what this is, some kind of petrified wood. You can see here the real pretty designs that are still showing on these two plates. They're a set, but they're not two pieces of one. They're two pieces of two. Here's a little cup that we found. Another cup we found here. It's got a raised design on it, and then the bowl with the designs on it as well. You got the fork and spoon and spatula on these. They're showing up very well on this piece. A couple really nice spoons that were found out in the yard or out by the creek as well. These right here are corks for old moonshine jugs that we found. And here is one part of a moonshine jug with the neck still on it. And then here's part of a larger moonshine jug. We have lots and lots of pieces of jugs and jars, full glass jars, everything. But these are just a small representation of what we have. Some like interesting jar type things like this. This bowl here was found out there, totally put together. Threw a couple marbles in it we found out back as well. A little music clip we found to hold music. It's in really good condition. Spring works great. It's got the little L, goes into the pipe. We've also found this. We're not real sure what it is. I'm thinking it's some kind of tool. Maybe, I'm really not sure. Sewing machine, drill, tattoo pen, I don't know. And then we found several cars, little toy gun, trailer, little army dude, old Zippo lighter, piece of a rifle, little bowl we found. Pretty good condition. One little small chip right there. Okay. Couldn't find a made mark on it. Not sure who made it or when, but it definitely doesn't say Avon, so we're not sure whose it is. We found this jar full. It's citrate of magnesia with the lid that still works. Pops off now. Look at that. It says made in the USA, or actually just says USA on the bottom and something else. I'm not real sure. Kind of hard to read, but I love this little lid for it. It just pops right on in. Look at that. So at the metal, the original, everything. And there's the bottom. Okay, so this is the creek bed out back of the house. This is the lower part where we find a few of our things. We found several pieces of the eggshell down through here, a few other little items. Most of the bigger stuff we find upriver or up the creek. Another part of dinosaur eggshell. That one right here. This is, as it was said, it was back in the day the Indians and whatnot came here and did their wash, swimming, cleaning, that kind of thing. We got a nice clay deposit we found over here. We believe they used a lot of that to make some of their pottery and whatnot. We found quite a bit of Indian artifacts in this area, you know, like the arrowheads and whatnot. Up further, we found the dinosaur eggs, more Indian artifacts, colonial artifacts, because they're old garbage piles up on the hill, and that's where I think a lot of like the spoons and jars and glasses have come down through and down through the creek over the years. Usually after a hard rain, you know, we kind of find our treasures and whatnot, and when the water comes down like this, you know, they just kind of show up. You are looking at the top of the waterfall and also the runoff from the old historical garbage dump that they had up there. I'm assuming the stuff that comes down through here is mainly 1800s, 1860s, 1900s, that kind of thing. That's pretty much what's up that way. We're not sure about that big rock, if there used to be a cave there or whatnot. Unsure. I'd like to thank you first of all for checking out the video and getting a brief overview of what we've found so far, and a little tour of the property. Not all of it, but you know, a little bit. We'd like to invite anybody, archaeologists, scientists, historians, that anybody would be interested in helping us find out more of what we got, or you know, you could come down and find a piece of history that you may have been missing in West Virginia and didn't even know, rewrite the whole timeline. My phone number is 304-783-4909. My email is tracyleanne.elder1971@gmail.com, or you can look me up on Facebook, Tracy Elder. Thanks a lot. Hope to see anybody soon. Give me a call. Send me an email. We'd like to know more about what we got, really. I mean, it's fascinating. I know there's a lot of history back here. The house itself is 1860s and earlier. There are stories of a Civil War battle here. There are stories of Indians out back living and hunting here. So thank you.